Hey internet, welcome to my channel. I talk about my mental health and also whatever I want. So if you're into that, hit subscribe and like the video when you like it. Today I'm talking about the panorama, can I say vaccine on here? So I'm just gonna call it the V, the panorama V. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Somebody was really trying to get me to not take the V. Okay, this is somebody, I'm not gonna say their name, they probably won't ever watch this video, but you know, you never know, they might. Like, I've had people in my life who I thought would never see some of my TikTok videos. They're like, oh my gosh, I loved your TikTok. I'm like, how the hell did you? So I'm not gonna mention anybody's name, okay? But it's just somebody who, you know, they care about me, right? So they really believe that this panorama V is like really bad for you. Mind you, now let me tell you where I stand. I think at this point you are being negligent if you don't get the V. I have not yet gotten the V. I admit I have been negligent. I think I am putting myself at risk, okay? And my hesitation with the V is just, you know, all those flu-like symptoms that you get after you get the V. And that has been my hydration, okay? Also, mind you, I have been looking at the peer-reviewed research when it comes to the hydrochloroquine plus extra supplements. And I have been, since the beginning of this panorama, I have been taking vitamin D, zinc, and magnesium. I have been taking those supplements. And if you have been following me, you know that this issue with my hair is called lichen, plano, polaris. And I went to the dermatologist and she prescribed me hydrochloroquine for this, okay? For this, because this is an autoimmune issue. She also prescribed me a multivitamin that has a lot of zinc and vitamin D in it, okay? So I have been taking these things that there's some research to show that in combination can be helpful. There's research to show those who suffer the most from the panorama have low vitamin D levels. Like, there's research to show that what I have been taking this whole time can be helpful, okay? Not the cure, okay? You can look up the studies yourself and see this issue is not a cure, it is helpful. So I have been doing that as my own precaution, and well, it just so happens I have an issue that it makes me take this stuff as well. So that also has been influencing my lack of urgency, but I still do plan to get the V, okay? So this person caught wind of my plan to get the V, and they sent me 2 videos. One was incredibly stupid, okay? The other was really interesting. And then when I tried to find the peer-reviewed research about what they were saying, it wasn't adding up either, okay? And I'm telling you this because you might have somebody in your life that is anti-V, and they try to fearmonger you into not getting the V. They try to fearmonger you using outdated information, literal non-information, and I heard from a friend. And if you disagree with the anti-Vs, they automatically say you're just going off the media. You're just listening, instead of listening to this doctor, you're just going off of what like random people are saying. They try to make you sound stupid, when in actuality, they are the ones who are going off of what their friends are saying. They're the ones who actually don't care about the research. All they care about is there something that sounds rhetorically convincing that is going against the popular consensus. That's literally all they care about. But they want to make you sound dumb. And it's like, actually, no. I'm going based off what the freaking peer-reviewed research says. That's what I'm going based off of. It's just irritating. It's just irritating to me. It's just irritating to me because this person said, I can't believe you watched the video of that doctor and you still want to get the V. Yes. I can't believe you watched that video of that doctor and didn't have more questions. Okay. So the first video I was sent was this video of Dr. Gold. This doctor is a quack. The premise of her video was that she lost her job. I wouldn't be surprised if she lost her medical license. And that's supposed to be a sign to us. That's supposed to be a red flag to us that there's something going on with the V. Actually, in regular real life, that's a red sign that there's something wrong with you. Okay? When I was searching for doctors to get my ketamine treatment with for depression, one of the doctors was red flag to me because when I searched them on the Texas Medical Board website, they had warnings. Okay, so when a doctor is fired or has warnings or something like that, that is a red flag to me. That's not I'm not concerned about the Texas Medical Board. I'm concerned about the doctor that's getting warning strikes. Okay. This Dr. Gold was also a part of the hullabaloo on the Capitol earlier this year, okay? And she was arrested. So already I'm skeptical. Already I'm like, what do you really have to say? I was like, let me give this video a chance because the person who wants me to watch this cares about me. So, and they think somehow this is good information. Let me give them a chance so they can say, you didn't even watch it. Let me at least watch it before I criticize, okay? So let me just forget in my mind who this person is. Let me just listen to the content of their speech. Their speech was so freaking dumb. Their speech was talking about, basically, it was, basically everything in their speech was about outdated information that has been debunked. And race baiting. Don't you love it when a Trump supporting conservative insurrectionist wants to talk about black people being disenfranchised by a vaccine? Don't you love that? Don't you love when for the first time in their life they want to talk about black people? Oh my God. I just wanted to freaking gag. I wanted to gag. Okay. So, I guess they felt like, okay, my issues with that video are legitimate enough. Here's another video. And it was like a hush hush. They're gonna take this video down. It is a public hearing of a state government. I forget if it's Michigan or what state. I forget the doctor's name. Dr. Christina something, okay, was basically there to talk about how she feels the V should not be mandated. Okay, I think probably like the V shouldn't be mandated for children going to school, I think was the issue. And they're like, they're going to remove this video. They're not going to remove a state congressional hearing. Is that the term that you use? They're not going to remove, like, the open floor footage of state politics. They're not going to remove it. Get out of here. I can't with conspiracy theorists. But I was like, okay, well, you put the urgency in me. Like, conspiracy theorists are amazing salespeople. They are. They're amazing salespeople. Watch this before it gets deleted. That put the urgency in me. I was like, okay, I was gonna just brush it off and watch it later, but fine, let me watch it right now. I click, it's like, video has been up for 4 days. Okay, the video's been up for half a week. They're not gonna take this video down. Anyway. So I watch what Dr. Christina has to say. Mind you, because partner watched the video and partner was like, oh, didn't she like actually physically do this research she's talking about herself? I'm like, no. This woman got her PhD and she's a high school science teacher now. She tutors. Her profession is to tutor your child in high school science. No, she did not friggin' do any research on the panorama front. Like, this is how bruh, the critical thinking, it evaporates. It evaporates. Oh my God. So now I'm not trying to discredit Dr. Christina, okay? When you get your PhD, you do research, okay? You do, and her PhD is in like molecular biology, something like that. I'm not trying to discredit this woman. I'm not saying that she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm not saying that at all. Okay? She seems like a lovely woman. She seems like a very intelligent, highly educated, lovely woman. Okay? I'm not trying to rag on her like Dr. Gold. Dr. Gold is the cuckoo. Dr. Gold is a quack. Dr. Christina, lovely woman, okay? But her arguments were really good when we're talking about mandating AV, okay? Her arguments are worth thinking about when it comes to mandating a V, right? She talks about the V was not designed to stop the spread. She is correct. She is correct. And that is in line with what the media said. I know she brings up some study that, this study was trying to say that the vaccine, it doesn't make it spread. Like, no, I don't know. I never heard of that personally, but that whatever study she's talking about that said the vaccine 100% stops the spread, that has been redacted, okay? She brings up a good point of why we should be concerned of making it mandated. She doesn't bring up good points as to why I, as an individual, should not get the vaccine. That's first of all, you are trying to convince me to not personally get the V. Why would you send me a video that's about how the V doesn't reduce the spread? Which, by the way, the V does help reduce the spread. It does. It wasn't designed to do that, and it's not super effective in doing that. We don't care. That's not what the V is for. It helps, but that's not what it's for. Okay. I just feel like, I don't know, a part of me just feels offended that this video that is about don't mandate the vaccine, this was supposed to be the, got him, this was supposed to be the, oh, this vaxxer is gonna come to their senses now. That offended me. I just feel like you should expect me to be more intelligent than that, and I expect you to be more intelligent than that. But okay, let me talk about, and then Dr. Christina brought up the black people card, the Tuskegee experiments. It's like, oh Lord, Dr. Christina is actually black. So my eye roll didn't go as far back into my head as Dr. Gold. And also, Dr. Christina is talking about, let's not mandate this for our children. So I'm like, okay, it makes sense. That makes sense to bring up. Okay. It makes sense to me. That makes sense to bring up if we're talking about, hey, our government is about to mandate this V, and I think it's a bad idea. Okay. So I didn't eye roll as much. Okay. That is a valid concern to me. For a black person, that is a valid concern. In my opinion. I don't think it's relevant. This is not Tuskegee experiments. This is not, I don't think that argument is really relevant, but I don't fault a black person for being concerned to that effect. All right? But that's irrelevant to me. I don't believe this is Tuskegee experiments, so that's not going to dissuade me from getting the V. Let me tell you the two things that were of interest to me, okay? Actually, it's the one thing, right? Because Dr. Gold touches on this as well, the pregnancy, how does it affect your pregnancy? And I think the pregnancy piece was not a focus in the beginning, but now more and more research is coming out. And listen, I don't blame any childbearing woman from feeling like I want to see more. I want to see more. I want there to be, just like there's overwhelming studies for other long-standing Vs, I want to see overwhelming studies for this one. Don't blame you. But so far, there's just nothing that indicates that it looking at the biology and the mechanism of the V, and also the actual clinical trials of the V, and the controlled studies, the let's see cause and effect studies. There's nothing that will indicate that it will harm the fetus. There's nothing that will indicate that it will hinder your chances of getting preggers. Like it's not. There's enough studies that make me feel like, okay, it's a non-issue for me. So you want to bring up, well, you're a childbearing woman, you plan to have kids. I've seen enough evidence that convinces me that it's fine. Whereas y'all's anti-V side, you have no evidence. You have no evidence that it can harm. You have no evidence of the harm. Like, literally not. Like, there is no evidence. There is no evidence of the harm. Your only leg to stand on is, we don't know enough. That's your only leg to stand on. And I'm telling you, what's out there is enough for me. Okay, so that's done. So, the only other thing that makes me concerned, and honestly, I'm still hazy on it, I'm still fuzzy on it, is what Dr. Christina was talking about, referred to as ADE, antibody dependent enhancement. And basically what it is it's this mechanism. It happened with the dengue vaccine, where you get the vaccine and it actually, if you get the disease, you will have worse symptoms than if you didn't get the vaccine. Now, the thing about ADE, and when she first said this, I was like, okay, this is the one and only point that's giving me concern. This is the one and only point that's giving me pause. So I started looking into it. I started researching it. And one thing all of these panorama anti-Vs who are talking about ADE, or Dr. Christina didn't call it ADE. She just said, if you get this V and then you get the variant, then you will have worse symptoms. That's what she said. But what she's talking about is ADE. She probably decided not to use that phrase, for time, because if you use that phrase, now you have to explain it, and she probably, didn't want to spend that time talking about that. She wanted to spend her last couple of minutes talking about Tuskegee experiments. She would have been more persuasive. Anyway. So she's talking about ADE, and what these people fail to bring up is that if a condition is prone to ADE, you will have it if you ever had the condition. Like, if you've ever had the panorama, if you've ever had it, and ADE was an issue, if you were to get it again, your symptoms would be worse. So they don't bring that up. They don't talk about the people who have already had the panorama and now they have the variant. What are they like? They don't bring that up. They don't bring it up because there's probably freaking nothing there. They're not going to bring up something that makes their point sound dumb or irrelevant. I'm sus about how seriously you take it because you're not bringing up people who have been previously infected. You're not bringing that up. And that is a crucial aspect of figuring out if a disease will lend itself to ADE in the vaccine. You need to know that. That is going to be a part of your research. Y'all don't bring it up. Okay. The other thing, I've just read just two articles about how the ADE is actually, no, yeah, 3 articles in MedCram. MedCram is an amazing YouTube channel. I have been following MedCram because there was a point in time where I thought I was going to go to medical school. So I have been following MedCram, and if at first it was just about like tutorials, like explaining stuff that's going to be on the MCAT and stuff that you learn in med school, kind of like Khan Academy. But in December of 2019, MedCram started watching the COVID. Damn, I said the word. They started watching the panorama, and this is where I was getting most of my information about the panorama from. MedCram cites their sources as well. So from MedCram and from the couple of articles I've read, because of the dengue issue that had ADE is one of the first things you test for when making a vaccine. And they cleared it. They said there's no ADE, there's no risk of ADE. That's good enough for me, especially because I cannot find anything. That supports what Dr. Christina is saying, that those who got the V have worse symptoms with the variant. That's a concerning phrase for me. And unfortunately, because this is just a local government hearing, that she doesn't have to cite her sources. There's no, here's Dr. Christina's sources, and she's not a public figure, so she's not gonna update her Twitter like, hey, everybody, if you're looking for the sources I based my arguments on, here they are. You know what I mean? I can't find anything that supports what she's saying. So I'm just gonna go with the actual people who are working directly on Panorama or have been following it. I'm gonna go with them and not the high school teacher. I'm gonna go with them about this ADE issue, right? So now, both videos this person sent me to try to convince me not to get the V are now irrelevant to me. Irrelevant. It is irrelevant to me. So this person gets on the phone. They're like, I can't believe even after watching that video, you still want to get the V. I'm like, yes. You're just listening to isn't it better to listen to this PhD doctor than just the media or what people are saying? I'm like, I'm not listening to the media or what people are saying. I'm listening to actual research that I can read with my own eyes. And then I get the opinions of doctors who are actually actively working in the panorama crisis. I'm not just turning on MSNBC and going, oh, Tucker Carlson said to get the vaccine. Which, don't you find it odd? Don't you find it odd that Fox News and all these, Sean Hannity and all these people who are anti-V suddenly are begging people who watch them to go and get the V? Don't you find that odd? Like, to me, that gave me pause enough to be like, okay, this is getting serious. Because Sean Hannity and all these conservative entertainment news rather, they have been loving on, this has been their bread and butter to make fun of the V and talk about how dumb it is to get it, and now they're begging people to get it. But anyway, no, and then so then this person tells me about how people that they know basically are taking what I'm taking for my hair. They're taking it for the panorama, and they were diagnosed with it, and then they took, the hydrochloroquine and the vitamins, and now they're fine. Okay, how did they get the panorama in the first place? Wouldn't you agree that it's better to just not get the panorama in the first place? Wouldn't you agree that is the best thing? Okay, but the Panorama V wasn't made for the variant. No, it wasn't made for the variant, okay? But it is still more effective in preventing you getting the variant than doing nothing, right? And obviously more effective than your vitamins if your friend so-and-so caught it. Okay, they weren't taking the vitamins when they caught it. Okay, so they were doing nothing. So you're telling me doing nothing is better than taking the V? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the logic isn't there. Like, okay, let me take the V to increase my chances of never getting it. And if I do get it, then just give me the magical pills and vitamins. Like, why can't I do both? Which, by the way, I have been taking the magical pills and vitamins this whole entire time, and I plan to do both. Why can't I do both? The research is there. The zinc is helpful. Apparently, there's a couple of studies that hydrochloroquine and a certain amount of zinc is helpful. The hydrochloroquine by itself is not helpful. You send me a video of a quack doctor trying to say you don't need the V, just take hydrochloroquine. That's how I know she's a quack. Every freaking study about hydrochloroquine has shown that it's 100% ineffective. Hello, use your big brain. You have to find the research that is relevant. Hydrochloroquine alone does nothing. Like, no. I'm not taking your prescription. Partner went out and bought all the supplements. You know what? Good job, partner, because you're supposed to be taking those anyways. But this person is not our doctor. I am not going to not get the V because this person has friends that didn't take the V and they turned out okay. I also asked this person, Donald Trump also believes in what you're saying, and he was hospitalized for a couple days, no? They're like, oh, okay, well, we don't know Donald Trump, but I know my friends. Okay, I don't know your friends. Like, didn't you tell me, didn't you say it's better to listen to doctors than it is to just listen to people who are not doctors? I just had to rant because this is a person who is intelligent. This is an intelligent person. And they were only sharing this information because they care. But I'm trying to tell them this is not persuasive to me, and it logically doesn't make sense to me. So thank you for pushing me to dive in deeper, but this is not good enough for me. And I don't think you actually care about the research. I don't think you do. I think you have been, I personally think this person has been fearmongered because the panorama has been scary. The government being actively trying to stop the spread because it's a public health issue, that's scary, because there's people who are anti-trust the government. And I just feel like anything that's persuasive, that fits the narrative, that sounds good to you, is what you go with. You don't actually care about the research, because if you actually cared about the research, you would know more than me what the research says about your own concoction. I know more about the concoction you're selling me on. I know more about it than you do. I know more about it than you do. I can send you a link right now to a peer-reviewed study. You can't. How is the person you're trying to convince more knowledgeable than you? That tells me you don't actually care about the science. I care about the science. That's why I have this research study about the concoction that you claim to be the miracle. And you're trying to sell me on. You're trying to sell me on something you don't even know about. I was just so irritated. That whole situation, I kept thinking about it. I was just so irritated. I was just so intellectually offended. So anyway, with this ranting and raving, I hope this gives you some thoughts for yourself. If you're dealing with somebody who's anti-V and it won't leave you alone, leave me a comment. I'll help you out. If you are anti-V and you think you have some good persuasive stuff, you can try. You can try. It's whatever you send me is probably gonna sound stupid to me. Whatever you send me is probably gonna sound stupid to me, or you're gonna send some statistic that's taken out of context, which that's another thing. So this person was telling me, because I was one thing that I brought up was, yeah, you're saying that there's not enough people have taken this V for us to have enough information, but I completely disagree. The sample size is very large. Millions of people worldwide have taken this V. There are states where it's 70% of the people have taken the V. You're not gonna really sit here and tell me that not enough people have taken it. You're not gonna sit here and tell me not enough people have taken it for us to know. Get the heck out of here. Get out. You're not gonna tell me we don't know. You're not going to tell me that. Meanwhile, we are drinking water that is polluted by DuPont. Yeah, did you know DuPont? I'm not talking about the Teflon chemicals, which has already polluted our drinking water. Like, it's everywhere. Like, we are ingesting this man-made chemical that has been linked to Alzheimer's and cancer. We are consuming it on a daily basis. It's everywhere. You're not going to tell me that. And this same company, DuPont, has another chemical that they were recently shut down for using that is now everywhere as well, especially in sparkling water. And like anything that's inside of an aluminum can, it's in there. This has also been linked to major health issues. You're not going to tell me that you're happily drinking sparkling water, but the V is scary. You're not going to tell me not enough people have been studied. This is more people than like ever. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that with a straight face. Like, I'm not gonna let you sit here and say that to me and have you think that I agree with you on that. No. No. Oh, it's a vegan restaurant. That's cool. But then this person said, oh, because I said something like, yeah, what Dr. Christina is saying doesn't add up with the actual statistics. So this person's like, what statistics? I said, like the actual number of people hospitalized who've gotten the V versus haven't gotten the V. And then this person said, oh, but the numbers are skewed. The numbers are skewed. And then these are the same people who, when an article comes out with statistics that fit their narrative, all of a sudden the numbers are not skewed. All of a sudden the numbers are believable and really good and really trustworthy. But only when it fits their narrative, right? That's what I've noticed a lot of people. I'm not saying this person did that. This person didn't do that. Well, actually, they kind of did. Lord. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just saying, if you're still anti this V and you try to send me an article, I guarantee it's something that's been debunked or it's something that's hypocritical, because it's going to be based on numbers that are supposedly fake. Like, this whole thing is so dumb to me. It's so dumb to me. And I am, gonna go make my plans to get the V. All right. I'm done ranting. I'm done ranting. Thank you for watching. Until next time, much love, much luck. Peace out.